Who driving with me? Hey, y'all. How y'all doing today? Trying to get my little stuff together over here. I got calls. I'm outside. It's hot. And I like to be outside. So y'all might hear some birds and some trucks and a few other things. Oh, man. How y'all doing today? How's everybody doing?
Jive with
What? Hey y'all, we driving with JoJo. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my podcast. So my daughter was supposed to interview me first, but she went to the store, so we're gonna have her come on last. But today, um, we since May is Mental Health Awareness Month, I have my sister-in-law Darlena on the line, and we're gonna just talk about different things that we've experienced in life with mental health that a lot of people don't want to admit to. That they may be struggling with, or um, or they see somebody in their family struggling with it. So we just want to share a piece of us today. Hey, Edna. Yeah, we just want to share a piece of us, and please share this podcast, please. And if you're on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel, Jiving with JoJo. What? Yeah, so me and my sister-in-law, Darlena, was having a conversation the other day about just things that we go through, struggle with, experience in our own personal lives. So we thought it would be a good idea to come on today and talk about some of those things. And I'm gonna add her on in a second. Hey, honey,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm doing good.
That's good. You had a good day today?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, me
Excuse
too.
me, I'm a little nervous,
It's
but
all good. It's all good. Me too.
you're such a natural. It's like nothing with you.
Thank
But
you.
yeah.
I don't feel like that, girl. If you can see my knees popping together, it's like, okay.
Okay.
So, so we was having a conversation and we were talking about how we both suffer from anxiety and panic attacks. Well, you
Yes.
suffer from anxiety and I suffer from panic attacks.
Hmm.
And like I know one thing that I was sharing with you was, back in the day, wait, boo, wait, boo, you're gonna get cold. Wait. So sorry, my daughter just came back. But we're gonna finish
Okay.
this and then you're gonna get on Jesse. So go back in the house for a second, please. Yeah. See our family. We gotta work around them. Yeah. So I remember how when I had my first panic attack back in the early 2000s. I mean, and it was so bad that I had to call the ambulance because I thought I was having a heart attack. And
Okay.
when the ambulance showed up, he took my blood pressure, did all my vitals, and everything was normal. And one thing he said to me that always stood out to me was that he said, whoever you have an issue with, you need
Mm-hmm.
to release it. And I was like, you know what? I do have an issue with some, not just one person. It was quite a few people because
Mm-hmm.
growing up, I was taught to be quiet, sit down, sit it there. You can't talk back. So people said things to me, and I had to hold it in. And then when I held it in, like when I from my first podcast, I was saying how you really don't want me to hold it in because then I explode, and then they looking at me like I'm crazy, but I'm really not crazy. It's just that sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
my husband right now, my
Okay.
husband just came out. Yeah, but it wasn't that I was crazy. It was just I didn't know how to voice myself
Yes.
in a proper way. So because I held it in, I would just cuss people out because it was like it was raised so high. I was just attacking folks,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, once I realized what was going on with me, I started speaking up. So when someone said something to me or did something to me, instead of me holding it, I responded right then, and that kind of kept it down. Plus, I was praying. I was like, God, please take this off of me. Because I used to be in a car scared to death with my
Mm-hmm.
sons riding down the street and a thought come in my head about something or someone. And it was like I was having heart palpitations. I felt like I was going to have a car accident. Like I was just so terrified.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, once I started to speak up and talk about different things to the people who affected me or who I
Mm-hmm.
allowed to affect me at the time, then it lessened for me. So, beautiful sister-in-law, what's some of your experiences?
um, I had my family members stay with me
Mm-hmm.
on several occasions,
Mm-hmm.
and I was stressed
Mm-hmm.
because they was elder
Yeah.
and sometimes very controlling or domineering.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like as an adult, it's still that kind of mentality like I'm the adult, you the child,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
the I'm grown.
yeah, yeah.
And it got to a point where I recall myself flipping over the table
Mm.
in my home, and I took all the pictures down, and I just threw. I was like, I can't take it no more. And there was another occasion where, because I work in childcare too, and just different things just going on, and sometimes the children just get out of control. They hit, spit, throw chairs at you, and you tell the director, and they really don't support you. They just kind of want you to deal with it while they still get the check from the parents.
So you was dealing with it from home and at work. So you like had no
Mhm.
peace.
Right. And
Yeah.
then I think I was coming home from work one day with my mom in the car, and I really felt like I wanted to crash the car
Oh
while we
wow.
was in it. I mean, I was just to that point, and I
Yeah.
knew I've been bottling up things way too long.
Uh-huh.
And so that's when I started to get help from a therapist. And even now, sometimes I second guess myself, like, should I say this? When I
Mm-hmm.
need to speak up right then and there, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like thinking too much about, am I going to defend the person, offend someone?
Yeah, yeah.
But
But
yet
but they
I'm
don't
bottled up with it.
yeah, and they don't think about if they offending you at the time. They just
Right.
say what it is on their mind. And you supposed to
Hmm.
just take it, right?
And part of my childhood, I had no problem speaking my mind as a child. I used to get in
Mm-hmm.
trouble all the time. So that really wasn't an issue. I mean, I got in trouble so much.
Yeah,
But then I think my later teens, as I entered adult and start in the really get my foot into the working field, And sometimes you have family members that kind of keep record of your actions,
Yep.
and then they begin to label you
Yep.
and make you feel like you're
Mine
hard-headed
too.
or things that's going on is your fault. And it's not really what you say, it's how you say it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's life and death in words. You can
Yep.
build a person up or you can tear a person down.
Yep. Yep.
And the
Yep.
thing in the words that you use.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now I'm learning to express myself. If it's in the working field, family, co-workers, let it out and
Mm-hmm.
be professional about it, but set those boundaries.
Yeah.
And
So,
it's yeah.
so my question to you is, why is it important to check your mental health?
Um, because your mental health affects everything. It affects your physical body.
Mm-hmm.
When there's too much stress, your body will start to wear down.
Yeah.
So it's just as much as you want to make sure it's nothing, just like you want to make sure you don't have nothing dysfunction with your body. If it's your weight, you need to lose weight, or you getting your toes checked, or you go to the dermatologist. You want to make sure that the way you thinking is right.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
thinking, it affects well, your mental affects how you think and how you feel and how you act.
So I know I suffer from panic attacks. What is your anxiety disorder?
Mine is social anxiety disorder,
Okay. Okay.
and I just found this out about 2, 3 years ago.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I
what
have
does so
anxiety and social anxiety disorder, so I have
okay.
a little bit of both.
Okay.
Hmm.
So what does that mean? Social anxiety disorder.
It's similar to someone being shy, but it's almost to the extreme where you
Okay.
have a fear of, it's like a fear of being isolated or the fear of being embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you just avoid social settings,
Okay.
or
Okay.
you may avoid a person in that social setting. So,
Okay.
mhm.
All right. So what's the stigma with mental health in the Black community?
I think for me, this is what I think. I think a lot of people don't have insurance,
Mm-hmm.
and they just feel like it's not a priority, or they feel like, how can they tell me how to handle my life if they haven't walked in my shoes?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, or they think most therapists is white people, and what do they know? They haven't experienced the struggle that we experience as
I
Black.
had
So how can they give us advice? So
Yeah, I had a therapist. She was blacker than all black, the whole afro.
mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
went to her about 8 years ago, and that was the best thing I could have did for myself because
Mm-hmm.
she didn't judge me. I was able to talk about me, my experiences, the trauma from my childhood, you know, trauma from relationships that was caused because of my childhood,
Yeah.
and help me kind of get to know who I am and appreciate me and
Yes.
learn to love me a little bit because I had
Mm-hmm.
abandonment issues like a big dog. So I
Yeah.
understand. I know that therapy does work and it is very, very helpful for a lot of
It is.
people in our
It is.
community. And nobody should be ashamed to go talk to someone. Because one thing, like I said to her, I remember in the meeting, I said, I was scared to come here because I'm thinking you're going to put me on medicine. She was like, we only
Mm-hmm.
put you on medicine if you need medicine. Everybody don't need medicine. Some people just need an outlet, somebody to talk to release what
Yeah.
they're going through, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what mine is. It's just an outlet. I can vent if I want to say a little curse words here and there. It's no judgment, but it's a place where I can let it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't always talk about issues. Sometimes I make a list, and the therapist helped me see the bright side, like with the glass not half empty, it's
Mhm.
half full. Like these are some things you accomplish.
Yes, yes.
So that's what therapy helps see
Mhm.
the other side. When I'm thinking bad about myself, I have accomplished a lot,
Yeah, yeah.
and just helping me think of what are some things that I can do.
Mhm. Mhm.
Self-talk, positive talking to myself,
Yeah,
or just making a like a bucket list of things that I can do that will make me happy while I'm pleasing myself, not trying to please other people.
exactly. So we both are cancers. We found this out the other day.
Yes.
So we both are like
Yes.
emotional people,
Mm-hmm.
but we're also loving people. And you know, I think I do have like that people pleasing thing to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
Just because if I invite you to my home, I want you to feel welcome. That's just like a part of who I am, but not to the point where I feel like you are going to just be able to dog me out and
Right.
in my home or outside of my home or anywhere else, and I'm supposed to just take it. You know,
Right.
a lot of your story resonates with me because me too. Oh, I remember my sister, her birthday one time. It was I was loud, drinking, real loud, like I get if I'm drinking, and they thought I was fussing with my brother. And I had a cousin, he came in there and tackled me. I'll never forget this day. He came in there and tackled me. He's like, you need to calm down. I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
Uh-huh.
you need to calm. When I tell you I turned over the whole table, the cake and her favorite lemon cake that my aunt made her, everything on that table was on the
Uh-huh.
floor. So I truly relate to that. When you
Yes.
telling it out, it made me think of that story. Yeah. But we
Mm-hmm.
all have our moments. We are not perfect.
Yes.
We can act like everything is gold all we want to, and that is just not the truth. Even in
And like
relationships.
my thoughts, like, oh my God, it's like it get way out there when I get upset. Like my parents, they had knives, any weapons, they like put it up because you never know what they gonna do. Yeah, but
That's
I
funny.
just, I'm a nice person. I
Yeah.
just sometimes have to just really check my thinking because being a Cancer, I am emotional,
Hmm.
and sometimes things can hit harder than what is intended.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's me. And sometimes,
yeah,
but see, and it's like I always tell my family, it's nothing you can do to make me that mad. Like if I'm mad at you and I might have cussed you out today, tomorrow I'm still gonna call you. I'm still gonna love on you. Like I don't hold it. Like that's one thing
yeah,
about me. I'm that cancer. I don't hold it because if I hold it, that's not gonna be good. So I once I
yeah.
release it, I'm done. We can still
Mhm.
go out to lunch tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I'm not beefing
Yeah.
with you ever. Like it's just too much to hold if you do all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what I'm working on, like not holding things.
yeah.
Just let it go.
And
Just
my other question, like my last question to you is, how do you recognize the signs within children with mental health? Since you're in childcare and this is something that you do, how do you recognize those signs?
well, one thing I do is like just an overall daily health check. So just observing children how they interact with other kids when they're playing. So I would notice if a child is a little bit more aggressive than normal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if the child has like sensory issues, it could be something mental.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if they have a hard time feeding themselves, like if they 3,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have like comprehend how to feed themselves, and there's food on the table and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, of course, over a period of time, you're working with that child, but then if you notice that it's no improvement, the child lacks skills like speech or physical delays and things like that. It's
Mhm.
basically, it gets to a point where it's time to get other services with the parent, and have
Involved.
someone
Mhm.
professional come into the classroom, because then it goes further beyond what I do.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
But just those observations is the key.
yeah.
And basically, the biggest thing is getting parents on board. Because
Mhm.
sometimes when you in childcare, they don't see it until they actually go to school.
Yeah, yeah.
Where we as daycare teachers, we kind of see it early on.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm. So,
yeah.
what would be your final words to leave with the folks out here that's viewing Jiving with JoJo?
Your mental health is important.
Mhm.
It take care of your mental health, and especially right now with this coronavirus, you
Mhm.
don't know how your neighbor or a church member is feeling, what they're going through. Check
Mhm.
on someone. It's okay to just extend a helping hand. Just pick up the phone or call, and just we just need each other, because you don't know how this is affecting
Other people.
someone. They may not had issues, but now they may be major going through major depression and having anxiety, don't know how they're going to live from one day to the next.
And
So
it's funny because I remember how that you said that how back in the day when, like, I had quite a few children at a young age. So
hmm
when they were gone, I was gone. I never could stay in the house by myself. Like, it took
okay.
me a long time to stay home. Like, if they was gone for the weekend, I was gone for the weekend because I didn't want to be in the house with my own thoughts. And I didn't realize
Oh,
it at the time. That was part of therapy to help me figure that out. And I was like, I just I just stay gone. They gone, I'm gone.
okay.
Because I didn't want. So sometimes you don't know that you're even dealing with this stuff because you're always on the move. You're working, you're
Yeah.
interacting, you hanging with this person, you hanging with that person. And by the time you get home, you drain, you sleepy, you get up and do the same thing over and over again. When
hmm
you get stuck in a place like this during Corona, it's a
Yeah.
big difference because now
Yeah.
you have to be by yourself, and there's a lot of people that are home alone right now dealing with
Yeah.
stuff that we have no clue about, like none. So
Absolutely.
I understand what you're saying, and I said this before. Reach out to somebody, check on them, see how they doing,
Yes.
because some people are out here struggling worse than we are,
hmm
you know. But I want to
Yeah.
thank you so much, Darlena, for coming on here and sharing your experience.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem. I'm going to bring my little daughter on. So if you guys
Okay.
can give me a couple of seconds and I'll be right back.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody. All right. So let me scoot in. You scoot in a little bit, boo. Can you see my baby girl? I'm trying to put it more on her than me. See my baby girl? This is Jessica Rain, the only daughter I have. She wanted to come on here and interview her mama. Hi, boo.
Hey, mommy.
How are you?
Good.
How's your day going?
Good.
Good. So, what are some of the questions that you wanted to talk about, or you just want to just free flow it, however you want to do?
The first question I have is, In what ways am I like you and not like you?
In what ways are you like me and not like me?
Yes.
So, you act just like me.
Mm-hmm.
You're smart. You're beautiful. You're chocolate. And you're ambitious. You have great ideas like mommy is always thinking. You're not like me in the physical sense. So you look more like your dad than me. So that's what I have to say about that.
And another question is there anything you wanted to tell me but never told me?
Is there anything that I wanted to tell you but never told you?
Mm-hmm.
No. Only because we're so honest with each other. You always say, Mama, sometimes you're too honest, you know. But you would rather me be honest than not be, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So what else you got for me?
What's one thing you have done differently as a mom?
One thing I would have done differently as a
Yes.
mom, I would have probably waited to have children. I would have still had all of y'all, but I would have waited until I was older instead of being a teen mom.
How do I annoy you?
How,
Sometimes.
how do you annoy me?
Yes.
By not listening. And I have to tell you 5, 6, 7 times to do something. That's it. What else you want to talk about? We got more time.
What do you think when you're working and I'm talking to you?
I think it's rude because I tell y'all I'm working. And you don't, y'all don't listen. Just like when I'm on the phone, like I say, I'm on the phone all the time, or I'm on the computer. But I have to focus on work in order to get paid, to be able to take care of you guys. So it's like, yeah, it can be annoying sometimes, especially if I'm having um, some type of conference call. But it's not just you; it's all of you. All of them do it. I have to tell them I'm at work. I got a meeting in 15 minutes. That doesn't work. They still do. What else you want to talk about?
Um, I don't really know.
You about done with
Yeah.
your questions?
Yes.
So how do you feel about this interview you just had with me?
I feel like I got to know a little bit more of you. And like it's like a mom and daughter situation.
Oh, okay. So you enjoyed it?
Yes.
All right. Good. All right. Thank you for your interview, boo. You know I
Well,
love you.
I love you too.
All right. Thank you guys for joining Jiving with JoJo today. Like I said, don't forget to share and subscribe. And have a good Saturday.